The corner, the corner, the corner. Hey, welcome. Come on into Cousin Ed's Corner. This podcast is where you will find real, authentic conversation, organic conversation, like you're at home with your cousin. It's about life, it's about finance, it's about spirituality, it's about love, and everything in between. I'm your host, Cousin Ed. I'm excited to bring you along on this journey to explore life. Listen, let's sit back and enjoy a wide range of topics. I have some diverse guests coming on, a wide range of spectrum of thoughts. My goal is to create a space for all of us to connect, all of us to learn each other, and all of us to communicate. It's really not about me. It's about the community as a whole. Let's enjoy this. Let's sit back. Let's think about our past. Let's move into our future. It's about the corner, the corner, the corner. So no matter how you cut it or slice it, we're all here together. I'm just here to give you a piece of my heart, my mind, my soul, and my mentals. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another episode of Cousin Ed's Corner. The corner, the corner, the corner. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. We are back with another episode of Cousin Ed's Corner, and I am delighted tonight once again to have another queen on. This one right here, we've been playing internet tag and DM tag and everything else, and we wanted to connect with you, with everyone, connect with each other first of all, before going into the holiday season. And we have something special for y'all, so just stay tuned for the special announcement towards the end. But we have a queen on that I am impressed with, and not to say that I'm not impressed with many people, but this one right here has impressed me. So I follow her on Instagram, and the knowledge that she has, the diverse knowledge that she has from all different spectrums, from business to crypto. I was like, she knows it all. So I am glad. Oh, yes, you do. I am glad to have her on today. Queen Stephanie McKenzie, how are you doing there?
Hello, Ed. How are you?
I'm doing very well. I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate your time. Like I said, I wouldn't say that in a sly way that we've been playing internet tag. It's on my part, mainly just the schedules that have not matched up. But I appreciate you spending some time with us. I know you have a big, I don't want to give it away, but something that you just birthed something big last week. And I don't want to give it away, but I know you have a lot of things going on. But once again, I definitely appreciate you coming to Cousin Ed's Corner.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Well, let's jump right in. I want to get into more about you. So I always say, tell us about yourself. I don't want to hear the Pampers story way back when I was in Pampers, but I want to hear something about yourself that made let the audience know more about you and what got you to the point you are today.
Well, every time somebody says to me, tell me about yourself, I hear Sam Cooke starting to sing, I was born by the river in a little tent. So you said don't start with the Pamper story, so that's good. I think one of the things that is always important for people to know about me is that I've spent the majority of my life not fitting in. And, I like to say I was always too white for the black people and too black for the white people. And so when you start life like that, I wish I could tell you, it made me strong and resilient. No, it made me a freaking people pleaser and codependent. And coming out of that space is what brings me to where I am today. Because before I even knew it, I've made a lot of decisions in my life previously that were good, they were okay, but they came from a place of wanting to be liked, loved, accepted, and sometimes even paid. And I say that, I start with that, I lead with that, because people have a tendency to skip to the end. And they're like, oh, Stephanie, you're this, you're that. Yeah, but Stephanie had to get here. Stephanie had to catch up with herself. And so, I want your listeners to know the origins of this person that you see here so that they'll respect the story a little bit more.
If you don't mind, I'll stay right there for a second. Wanting to be liked and being from in the middle of two communities as a child, I'm thinking as your adolescence ages, definitely must have been. Did you have anybody there to coach you like you have now? Did you have anybody there to counsel you like you are counseling people now?
I mean, not yes and no. I come from parents that were fairly accomplished. By the time I met them, my parents had me in their late 30s. And so they were fairly accomplished when I met them. And so there were no conversations about, how you're feeling and how these people are impacting you and, all of this. There weren't those conversations back then, right? There was one person in my life, I consider her like a godmother. I have tons of godmothers and god siblings and whatnot, because eventually I just had to make me a family. And I would tell her some things, but there wasn't anybody that was really coaching me through, because truthfully, I think when you go through that and you go through it for so long, yeah, it started when I was a child, but it would persist probably until I was about my mid 30s, just trying to figure out, okay. And at some point I was like, okay, it's complete. How I am is completely fine. But I would be probably in my mid 30s before I was like, And about those other people and their opinions, yeah, they just can't matter. So because there weren't conversations about that in my youth, everything for me was cleverly disguised under the mask of achievement. Like, how can you be suffering if you have the highest grades in the class? How can you be suffering if you have this bomb wardrobe? You always got on your labels or whatnot. How can you be suffering when you're going to this major university? And I'm like, that's really a huge part of the work I do now, is getting people to understand that achievement is just not fulfillment.
That's so
and
true.
It's easy to hide. It's so easy to hide in achievement. I remember the first time I told my mother I had low self-esteem, she looked at me like I had grown a head out of my shoulder. She's like, whatever do you mean? My mother in my head sounds like Barbara Jordan, so that's my mommy voice. And she didn't get it. She absolutely didn't get it. And nobody got, honestly, again, 30s or so before I could define what actually went on with me when I was younger. And the correct term is high agency, low self-esteem. Okay. So I had high enough agency to achieve and to get the grades, although at some point I didn't even care about that for a moment, but to achieve, get the grades, be awesome, be excellent on the outside, but still be super duper broken on the inside.
Now, the reason why I asked about the coaching and counseling, I just came out of a live not too long ago talking about, for most of us in our culture, in our society, we don't believe in counseling or therapy or things like that. So I didn't know if that was something you started early, had an opportunity to. I know many of our kids, parents do not want to get the kids that, or don't even recognize to get the kids that kind of help. So I know I see you with your college and trying to help people early. But I just wanted to know, did you get that early or not? Now, going into your 30s and that figuring out, that's when a lot of us, I say our 70 babies, look at you, definitely later on in life are figuring things out that we didn't figure out early on. So I applaud you, even speaking on it and being able to help others by giving back and letting them know that it's okay to not be okay at that time, but having somebody they can go to. Speaking of having somebody they can go to, let's go ahead and go into some of your credentials. I'm not going to read them all off. It's a lot, yes, but I'm going to speak. Yeah, I'll let you tell the audience more about yourself, because that's the segment, right? This part of the segment. But you are a coach.
I
You
am.
are. Go ahead. What else here? Trainer, coach, life coach. What are some other things that you want to highlight here? Marketing
Oh,
expert,
oh
brand
gosh. Here we
expert.
go. Here we
Uh,
go. I'm just Stephanie. Let me stop.
I went through this. I went through this resume, and I'm sitting there looking like she is the bomb.
No, she is a high achiever who was codependent for most of her life. So that being said, but I will say, let me give myself credit where credit is due. Um, my early days are very different than my latter days, and so I never really got my latest, certification and whatnot as a way to kind of make myself worthy. I did that out of a space of knowing that I was worthy and just wanting to augment what I already knew. So to that end, yes, I am an award-winning marketer. I am a TEDx speaker. I am a best-selling author, Amazon best-selling author, multi-certified empowerment coach, which includes everything from life, relationship, and bereavement, all the way to TRX and senior fitness, as well as integrative nutrition. Yeah, and then my proudest moments come from being the help and helping people build their brands and their companies and themselves. And so that's really what my greatest work is.
I'm gonna try this. It may be corny. I've never tried it before on the show, so this will be the first time trying this. Hold on. It's here, so I'm gonna give you that. I there's not many people that can say and have those accomplishments. So yes, give yourself the ability to realm in it. Give yourself your flowers. I'm giving you flowers while you're here, because even if you have gone through anything, anybody who's gone through anything, but able to complete a task is an accomplishment, right?
Absolutely.
Some people need those cheers for just making the bed in the morning, but your accomplishments speak for themselves. I had a chance to go and I started. I'm going to finish it. Hopefully, I'm gonna try to do it on my plane ride. But your TED Talk, y'all don't understand. This lady has hundreds. Let me go back to it. Hold on. I had it up. I saved it.
Well, while you're doing that, can I let you in on a secret?
Yes, ma'am.
I've never watched it.
For real. That's like me. I don't go back and listen to shows. Once I put them out.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Then somebody
Now
tell
I
me something.
will go back and watch my videos, but I have not watched my TEDx.
Yeah. Now let somebody tell me something I need to hear and something I need to write down and get notes from. That's the only time I go back and listen, because it's me sitting on the couch and I don't want to sit on the couch again. So it's me releasing things not to go back in. So something like this I may go back to. But she has over 80,000 views on this TED Talk. That's only on the YouTube portion of it. So TED Talk may be other places. She has over 87,000 views on this TED Talk. So when she says accomplished, she is truly accomplished. She has receipts. As we come up with all these new things, right?
Right.
Now everybody receipts, right? She has all these receipts for her accomplishments. But one thing I do like about her, and one reason why I asked her to come on the show, she doesn't brag and boast about the receipts. If you ever come on her lives or ever listen to her, she doesn't brag and boast about them. She's always out there trying to help the audience and giving away free knowledge on the lives and TikToks. She really got me when she talking about crypto. Not many, and let me say this loosely, I don't know many females, especially of our culture, that can speak on crypto to that degree. Very few.
I know
So
very little about crypto, though. Seriously, I knew enough to get a little bit, but I don't know tons about it. Like, I really don't.
no,
I just knew enough to get a little bit.
well, you knew enough to have me thinking you knew a bunch about it.
So
Yes, and not only crypto, she talks about AI. She talks about AI technology and different tools that we can use in our businesses. So those are all things that I commend you for.
thank you.
Definitely. Let's go back to your coaching. What in what arena do you practice all of them at the same time, or right now what are you practicing most? Are you practicing your life coaching, your business coaching, or it
All of
comes
them
into
at the all of them at the same time. There's a running joke with my team, and I say this, and I'm like, yeah, all the business or the marketing and branding clients get coaching, all the coaching clients get branding and marketing. And so, what I labeled myself as when I came back into the marketing and branding space to start taking clients again, because I had stopped, I decided to be a fractional CMO. And that's just a chief marketing officer that you can get at a fraction of what the investment would be for a full-time person on your team. And so the more I got into that, the more I realized that CMO does stand for chief marketing officer, but it also stands for chief mindset officer.
Mm, okay.
And, it's important that people are healthy enough for the success that they want. And many times they aren't. They aren't mentally healthy enough to carry out, like, I'll write you an amazing strategy and brand development, et cetera, et cetera. But if you're not sleeping, that's going to make it difficult for you to carry that out. So then I switch hats and go into sleep science. Did you just get hit? Do you not sleep? But
Yeah, for those who don't know, these are recorded live. I did hide because sleep is a whole nother topic.
Yeah, we gotta sleep. And so, one of the certs is sleep science, which I got when I was doing my integrative nutrition certs. And I know that somebody 18 years of age and above needs 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep. That means that you'd go into a REM cycle, I think, every 90 minutes, right? And so if we're sitting there and we're talking about brand development and you're talking about how you're going to serve your client, but you're literally like breaking your body down every night because you don't rest, it doesn't matter. I'm going to switch hats on you. I'm literally going to switch hats, and then we're going to start talking about sleep hygiene and binaural beats and how we're going to get you to bed. So I put my clients to bed.
So I got my finger up like I'm at church.
I see you.
Please do not put me on the couch today. I don't need it right now. This is your session. This is to find out about you, but we're going to come back and revisit the sleep sessions.
Okay.
Another time. But y'all do hear that. She knows her stuff. And like I said, the thing I found about her is that she cares, right? She cares about the audience and she wants us to get it. So you say you do the marketing. Give me the two mixes. You do
brand, marketing, and coaching. That's literally what every
you mix. You flip them around.
Okay. The brand and marketing coaching, yes, and then the coaching clients get brand and marketing. In fact, if I could give you an example of that, last week, one of my clients, we were talking about she's going through a breakup, a separation that may culminate in divorce. I don't know if you know anything about Texas. We don't have legal separation. So you're married until you're not. That's how they roll here. And so we've been coaching through. And then she's like, and I need to do this for my business. And I was like, and switch. And so I switched hats and we got her together with a little micro brand development, dropped her a little logo based on the brand development, the target audiences that she's seeking. And then we went on with life. That's kind of how my life really works. Like you said, do you do them all at the same time? Sometimes. Sometimes.
And I do believe that you do have partially, not partially, but you do life coaching also. That's all mixed together.
Yeah, it's all mixed together, and that's part of the reason why I went for the moniker empowerment coach versus life. Because if I say life, then that takes away the relationship coaching, that takes away the bereavement, that takes away the sleep science, the integrative nutrition, the meditation, the mindfulness, the tapping. It takes away all the other certs. But if I say empowerment coach, I can go a myriad of directions. And so that's where that came from.
I just came up with something for you. I'm just going to put multivitamin on there. Instead of taking all those vitamin B's and vitamin C's and K, you a multivitamin.
Oh, yay me! I'm a supplement. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. So around 30, mid 30s, you figured all this out and you started. What I say is you started doing stuff for yourself. You started finding out who you really were, not doing things for other people. At this time, were you working for a corporate company at the time, or you already started your own business?
Well, actually, I started my first business when I was 9. And so it was a punch stand. We didn't have lemonade at the house that day, lest I digress. And so by the time I was 13, I had a desktop publishing business, and I probably made about $30 a day, which I found a way to spend all of it. There is no fruit from that labor, which then went into document, graphic design, marketing, artist development, because artists who aren't making money need development, not management, and so on and so forth. So when I was in my mid 30s, I was still professoring because I'm a former college professor, but 35 was a pivotal time for me because my father passed away. And that was my best friend. That was also my business bestie. So there's a lot going on there. And he's been asking me for like 10 years almost, when are you going to do what you want to do? When are you going to do what you want to do? And I would say, I am, Daddy, I'm happy. He had to literally go in the ground for me to figure out, oh, that's what you meant. And so when I got it, the light bulb went off, and he was literally talking about living your life to please other people. That's what he was talking about. He wasn't talking about the work. I kept tying it back to the work. So the answer to your question was, I was professoring and I was running the business, and then I was running his business because he had been in business for like 50 years. So when he passed away, I did take over until I realized that, kinfolk. So my uncles are rather dishonest and duplicitous, and as I am carrying all liability for the company, I had to shut it down or risk being in an orange jumpsuit. I look really good in orange, not that orange jumpsuit.
Orange is the new black, they said. What is that?
and I wasn't trying to find out. So it pained me to shut down a company with 50 years of brand equity. And I still shudder at the thought, because I had a plan that would have made everybody millionaires. But unfortunately, when you're dealing with people whose mentality is on some other stuff, you can't really build with them. So we did.
I've been there.
Yeah. I think we all have. I just wasn't going to stay there.
It's sad, especially if it's in our own community or in our family. But so you were professoring, and then you had your father's business shut down. You had your own business. So when did you give up professoring, being a professor, and running? I know, right? Professoring, and running your own business full time.
Well, so I went back to full-time entrepreneurship on August the 16th, 2021.
Oh, congratulations! Right? Is that COVID? Right? During COVID?
A little bit in the pandemic-y time, yeah.
So do you feel that transition was, I ain't say pushed, but you saw the need for it more during the pandemic?
No, not really. I mean, I'm going to be transparent, even to my own detriment. So in 2020, and actually a few years prior to that, I want to say probably like 2018, I found myself feeling very unsupported in the work I was doing. And one of the covenants I have with myself is that I only go where I am celebrated, not tolerated. And the ill dichotomy of me professoring was that I got to a point where my students celebrated me, but management tolerated me. And they tolerated me because they couldn't use me. And I'm like, okay, but I still do a fantastic job. There's very few times when I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go above and beyond, because it was about my students. And so I'm teaching my students business and marketing, but I'm teaching them meditation and mindfulness. I'm giving them extra credit for taking care of themselves, for putting together self-care plans. I taught them how to tap so they would learn how to manage their anxiety. It became just, it was weird because I was in the fray, right? Because I'm in the tension between this person that's supposed to be my quote unquote boss is a complete and utter undiagnosed, possibly diagnosed narcissist. But I'm looking at the papers and, oh my God, this class was amazing and I can't believe and yada yada. And so I wanted to leave then, but I actually planned my exit for 2021 when I just was like, Stephanie, I'll do how I normally say it. I said, Stephanie said, we can't continue to do this because my good job was keeping me from great work. And so I began to plan my exit strategy so I could leave. I wasn't sure yet. January of 2021, I started planning my exit strategy. And that meant cleaning up some credit messes, stacking the cash, making sure we could move the way we wanted to move if we're going to do this again. And when it came time to renew my contract, probably a week before the semester started, I chose not to.
Okay. Well, congratulations to you.
Thank you.
It looks like it. I can see that it's been paying off for you. So continued blessings in this endeavor, this life that you have.
Thank you.
Can you tell us about your award-winning book?
Surely. So that was, Lord, can I tell y'all the truth? It took me 10 books, I think it's 10, to get a freaking bestseller. And so the 10th book, I think it's the 10th or 11th, but we're just going to say it's the 10th because it's easiest. It's called What is Kryptoniting? And that's the bestseller, the Amazon bestseller that is based on the TEDx. And it really talks about using vulnerability and learning how to use vulnerability as a superpower. And it introduces some terms called limb work, like you're out on a limb, and protective intelligence. Because our problem usually when it comes to being vulnerable is that we always, go back to a time when we were vulnerable and somebody weaponized it against us, or, they didn't receive it the way we thought they would. And I'm like, it's not about the vulnerability. It's never about the vulnerability. It's about with whom you were vulnerable. And so once we learn who is worthy and learn discern, right? Lately, I've been on this kick. Get your discernment back. Get your intuitive muscles back, go start flexing them, like strength training with your discernment. Because we need to operate from a space where we can internally validate what is and is not right for us, what is and is not right for us, right? So that's what the book is about. And that book actually came out 2 years ago on December 30th. It was actually, the bestseller was a birthday present for my mother. She loves books. So I gave her a bestseller. It was my book, but I gave her the news of a bestseller on her birthday, and that was the intention.
Oh, blessings to Mom. So you got the bestseller that came from the TED Talk. You have your the bestseller came from the TED Talk. You just threw out there you have 10 other books before that, possibly. So you've been doing this for a minute. Also, I think I won't be corny this time, but a virtual drum roll. Let's go ahead and announce what you just released.
Oh, and it's right beside me. Hey, it's my first. Actually, pull it in the frame, Stephanie. Bam! It's the first journal that I've done. It's called A Year in My Power. And it is a light work, shadow work, and gratitude journal experience for the woman who has everything except herself. And I know that nobody can see it, but you can. And what I love about this thing is that, one, it's a journal, but I want you to see, you can color in it. It has a coloring book
very
feature.
nice. Yeah, I see that. Beautiful.
And so you can color if that brings, because adult coloring books are a whole thing. But I wanted to do a dedicated journal, because there is some journaling in What is Kryptoniting. But I wanted to do a dedicated journal because I wanted to have a tool. This is why I wrote books in the beginning. I was literally making mini textbooks so that I wouldn't have to repeat myself. And so if I taught a class, I could always say, hey, go grab this book, go grab that book. Here's the ebook, here's the whatever. And so this book I want to put into a lot of people's hands, because it's an opportunity for women. This one's written specifically for women to drill into what makes them happy, to look at their accomplishments, and to really just chronicle their lives for a whole year. And so I'm excited about that because I have too many clients that say, I don't know what makes me happy, yet they have all these material trappings of success, but they don't know how to go within and know who they are. And so this is a special one. This is a special
I think it goes back to the question your dad asked you about, about you being happy. Well,
yeah.
So this book, where can it be found?
It can be found on Amazon.
Okay.
And just look under my name and you shall find me.
Well, they can definitely go to cousinedscorner.com, and I'll have it in the show notes. They can have a link to it in the show notes where they can find the book. Anyone who's listening to this episode, the first person who responds with a voicemail, I will sponsor you a copy. I donate you a copy to the first person that responds with a voicemail. Not a voicemail on 762 number, but I want you to go to cousinedscorner.com. Across the top of the page, hit leave voicemail. Leave a voicemail for Miss McKenzie, Queen McKenzie, and let her know what you think of the book. Let her know what you think of this interview, and I'll send you a copy. I'll have her send you a copy of the journal. So just to wrap everything up, no, you're welcome. You're welcome. Just to wrap everything up, and hopefully you will be back again. I tell everybody, listen, the brown is under, I don't know if you use this or not, but the brown is under the cabinet and the clear is above the cabinet, and the red cups you see right there on the countertop. So you're welcome back anytime. I got to get a Keurig machine for people who don't. That's my Christmas gift to myself. Oh, look at you. So you can get coffee if you like. But you're welcome back anytime to Cousin Ed's Corner. Definitely tell everybody where they can find you at, any information you'd like to share with them, and we'll wrap this up.
Absolutely. Well, you can find me at stephaniedmckenzie.com, and I'm usually Stephanie D. McKenzie in all social media except for Facebook, where I'm Coach Stephanie DM. So look me up, please. I would love to hear from you.
Definitely. Quick question, because I did hear this just now when you did that. You put a radio voice on. Do you do any radio voiceovers, anything like that?
I had a radio show for a year.
Okay.
One of my bucket list things. And yes, I went into radio voice. My first non-profit job was working in the radio station and doing sales. So I've been around radio for a really long time. It's literally a love of mine. So yeah, you heard the radio voice. Yes,
I heard it for a quick second. All right, guys, girls. This is another episode of When My Sister Wins, We All Win, and we have won today with another queen that came to bless us. I definitely appreciate you. Definitely want to have you back again. I think we only, as they say, peeled one coat of the onion. Because there's so many layers to things you do, and just to have you back to talk about especially how the journal's going and some other things within your business and empowering others. Love to have you back. So 762-333-2032, that's 762-333-2032. Visit cousinedscorner.com. Visit cousinedscorner.com. Leave a voicemail there if you like. I love to hear from you. Also, if you want to send any text messages, use the 762 number. If you have any information you'd like to gather, email me at info@cousinedscorner.com. That's info@cousinedscorner.com. I once again thank you, Queen. Thank you, my sister, for coming on. Appreciate you. Would love to have you back. And until we do it again, peace.
This is Stephanie D. McKenzie. You can call me your CMO, that is your Chief Marketing Officer or Chief Mindset Officer. And you can learn more about me at stephaniedmckenzie.com. Again, stephaniedmckenzie.com. I wanted to let you know that when I'm not supporting high achievers, multi-passionates, or recovering people pleasers to achieve hustle-free success, I want you to know I'm listening to Cousin Ed's Corner, and you should be too.
Hey y'all, Aisha here, founder and CEO of the Sistahs in Business Expo, the country's only multi-city small business expo and community created to celebrate and educate entrepreneurial women of color. Be sure to tune in to the next episode of Cousin Ed's Corner. And remember, when my sister wins, we all win.
This episode of Cousin Ed's Corner was brought to you by the Sistah Shop. please be sure to visit them at thesistahshop.com. That's TheSistahShop.com. Thesistahshop.com. Thank you for listening to Cousin Ed's Corner.